So the MLK files were released. Boy, 230,000 pages of a whole bunch of nonsense tying, what something I've been bringing up for 3 years now that nobody in fake MAGA ever brings up and nobody in mainstream media brings up. But then, you look into when the FBI, back then before Kennedy got a hold of it and put a bunch of basically Democrats, liberals, crazy left lunatics got a hold of FBI. That's what we've been dealing with since. But, I do try to look, I always look at both sides. So when I was going through the Kennedy stuff, especially because it's so tied to the Cold War, I understood in many cases why the CIA was doing the things they were doing, because they were trying to prevent the radical lunatics, communists from foreign countries, from infiltrating and creating groups here, like, the Students for Socialist Society here and all that crap. But, many others, Black Panthers, take your pick. There's a bunch. Well, MLK, good old MLK, well, he was tied to Kenya too. What do you know? And since JFK is responsible for this nonsense that nobody in the media wants to talk about, no, the way they present it, the way Kennedy's library will present it, is this was about solidarity with Black Americans and Black Africans. Yeah, and by you airlifting Kenya students here because the State Department didn't want to do it, they didn't. Why? Because, our government actually wanted to take care of Black Americans, not Kenya Africans. So the Black community was pissed off with Kennedy over this, rightfully so, because when the State Department told Tom Maboya, who was this, he's mentioned in there at the top there, he was like a representative out of Kenya, okay? When the State Department turned him down, because they said, we're not paying for Kenya students to come here and go to Ivy League schools. They went to good old JFK, who wasn't even president yet. He was running for presidency, and he was in the Congress. And what do you know? Well, the JFK Foundation paid for the first two airlifts to bring 81 students, I think, was in the first group. In the second group was good old Barack Obama, Hussein's father. But not just JFK being tied to this, well, good old MLK was too. Yeah, all to bring foreign students here. And so the FBI and CIA, they had concerns with MLK. Again, I can totally understand. I mean, this would explain why the King family was all upset about these documents being released. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It's like all the people that hurt our country. Sorry, I don't care if you were a big JFK lover. I wasn't alive. But everything that I noticed he did brought in more regulation, more bullshit. And then when I read how, he thought that bringing Black Kenya students here would somehow bring solidarity with American Black people, and the Black people that live in, poor conditions in these cities were like, are you out of your mind? It didn't. Now the media will tell you, no, it did. No, Black people were furious, rightfully so. You'd have to be out of your mind not to be, because their argument was, how could you spend, you spent $100,000 on a bunch of foreign students to come here while you disregarded the Black community. And to boot, MLK was in on that deal. Yep. Yeah, all of the bullshit that's happened in our country, and it's all led to Obama. No wonder I thought the first time I heard him, I said, he'll be the Antichrist. I said that to a friend when I heard him speaking at John Kerry's convention. I said, he'll be the Antichrist to America. I said he will, nobody knew who he was. He spoke at Kerry's convention, and I was listening to it, and I thought, oh, he's such a good speaker. He's so good. He can deliver a speech like perfectiono. But he's so full of shit in every word he says. And that's, of course, what he went on to do. But everybody said, oh, Obama won't run. He won't get in. I said, nope. I said to my girlfriend, who would verify it to this day, I said, he will run in the next election. He will win, and he'll be the Antichrist to America. I said it. She'd verify it for me. I know you would, Wendy. You were there. So whatever people want to think of that, that's the truth, okay? And he went on to literally be that, okay? He literally went on to be that. Doing everything, but it wasn't just him. He was just the end result of a bunch of people that acted like they were for America and weren't. So while King went around the country and gave beautiful speeches and said beautiful things, okay, all the while, he had ties to Kenya. Yeah, so that was the reason why the FBI started tracking him, because of concerns over foreign interference. But then again, they were all tied to this. MLK, JFK, Tom Mboya, who was the one that represented for Kenya, that we should somehow pay for Kenya students to come here. Like, it's total bullshit. So this is from the MLK files. I mean, clearly I haven't gone through, all of them. But I came across this and I'm like, that's where the sons of bitches screwed America over. That's where these bastards did it. That's when they did it. So then, you can understand why the media has pushed like that CIA killed Kennedy and that the CIA is the problem. Well, the CIA became a problem, and FBI once the left got enough control over every institution in America, and it's because all this stuff where the FBI was trying to, this is all the stuff that the intelligence agencies were always trying to prevent, so that we could keep our freedoms. And you liberals don't even, because I'll go to the wall with you. Don't even get in my comment section and pull your bullshit. Okay, like, you just hate America. Let's just be be serious about it. That's what it is. You hate America. But I thought that long before this. So a leading Kenyan nationalist, Tom Mboya, had extensive documented interactions with Dr. King. They met during Mboya's U.S. tour in 1959, most notably at the Africa Freedom Dinner in Atlanta. Their correspondence reveals King's supportive response to Mboya's request for assistance with Kenya student scholarships and King's expression of solidarity, stating there's no basic difference between colonialism and segregation. Why should we have to care about what's going on in Africa? Because by you all doing that, you disregarded the black people here in America, but I think you wanted to. I do. I think the liberal, because it's the Democrat Party. They were the Jim Crow laws. They supported KKK people that were in the House, that ran on, that were Democrats. They helped Byrd, look him up, BYRD. He's dead now, but Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, they held him up high on a pedestal, and he was a known member. There's pictures of him with the KKK. So it's not this country, the media, and yet they keep trying to act like the government's the problem. It doesn't seem to me that the government's the problem. It seems like fake MAGA's the problem, okay? Because they're left liberal lunatics, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all those crazy lunatics there, okay? That's who they are. Never have a good thing to say about America. They will if they have to, but they act like it's all the government. No, the government was doing what they should do. That is, until Kennedy got in, and it seems like the left got a hold of a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, all these, all of them get killed. But FBI had reason to wiretap MLK. You bring this bullshit on the heels that, it's solidarity with black Americans and Kenya Africans. Yeah, and the black people back then were like, yeah, no, not buying it, okay? But the way the liberals have pushed this, because they don't like the black people, is they've pushed it that this was all, this was solidarity. No, it wasn't. It's very simple. If Kennedy or MLK gave a shit about black Americans, then they would have told Kenya that. They would have said, no, we're going to focus on the black people that we have living in this country. Instead, what did they do? They helped bring good old Barack Obama's dad here. Yeah, a bunch of people tied to the Muslim Brotherhood. Same damn problem we have today.